The Tomorrow War is absolutely awesome. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Lifestyle Critic. I hope you are doing well, and in this video we are going to be reviewing The Tomorrow War, which is a science fiction action apocalyptic movie that was originally going to have a big theatrical cinematic release. However, due to the pandemic, it is now being released on Amazon Prime. And at first, I thought that this movie is pretty average, as the first act of this film is pretty slow and a little bit boring as well. But by the end of this movie, I just thought, wow, what an awesome film, as it packs in so much storytelling. I mean, it's got a pretty relatively high runtime, but after seeing the Snyder Cut, which had a 4-hour runtime, I feel like this is definitely going to be the new normal. And this film was really, really cool, as it's both big and small in scale, as it really focuses on the lead Forrester family, and you really get to know them a lot and you're really with them across this movie. However, of course, it's a really big film as well, as it literally is the end of the world in an apocalyptic type situation, and the concept of traveling to the future to prevent a war happening in the future, I think is relatively innovative and really, really new in a genre that's pretty much done it all, and I'm going to be breaking it all down for you in this movie review. Soldiers from 30 years in the future suddenly arrive in present day as they want to recruit people from the present day to go to the future and help stop a war happening with killer aliens. A year goes by and the success rate of soldiers from the present day coming back from the future is only at 20%, so they have to draft in members of the public to help with this war effort. And Chris Pratt, who is playing the Dan Forrester character, is one of these people who is going into the future to help prevent the war and try to save his family along the ride as well. So from a positives point of view, like I said before, this film is both very small and very large in scale, and it just works really, really well, as you've got this big, massive storyline happening in terms of the literal end of the world in the future. And as well as that, you've also got this heart-driven storyline with the Forrester family, which is really, really cool. Also, like I said before as well, they did something new in terms of people in the present going into the future to try and prevent a war happening in the future. And this raises some really interesting questions in terms of the people in the present, should they even care and help out the people in the future? And then of course, that's got a lot of time travel questions in terms of, do you want to know what happens to you in the future? What happens with the paradox of seeing yourself in the future? All of those really, really interesting questions. And strangely, even though it's a really far-fetched science fiction based film, it's strangely really, really believable, as they just explain everything and they take the audience on this journey with them. And it's got just the right amount of expedition happening, so you're really understanding what is happening in both the future and the present. And the action sequences against the killer aliens are absolutely awesome. And also, they've got some really, really nice stealth-based missions happening in this movie as well, and I really did feel like I was watching a Metal Gear Solid film, as those scenarios are really, really cool. And like I said before, the aliens are just truly killer and unstoppable, so those situations are really, really intense. However, from a negatives point of view, like I said before, the first act of this movie is really, really slow. It's got that classic no moment, and I know people were absolutely screaming when Darth Vader said that in Revenge of the Sith, and I wonder what people will say about this movie as well. But you know, all in all, I think it's a pretty solid sci-fi movie from a storyline point of view. So the cast and characters in The Tomorrow War do such a good job. They really do make it really believable, really enjoyable, and you're really with them across this movie. So let's go through them one by one. So first, of course, we have Chris Pratt, who is playing the Joe Forrester character, and he does such a good job in playing the action hero and the action star in this movie, especially after Jurassic World. He's really showing his credibility within this space. Obviously, we know that he can do a phenomenal job as a comedic actor, and actually I was really surprised to see that he's a really good action star in this movie. And you're really with this character, both from a heart-driven family point of view, as well as wanting to stop these killer aliens and having a personal vendetta to wanting to do this towards the end of this movie. Next up, we have Yvonne Strahovski, who is from The Handmaid's Tale, and she is playing a colonel in this movie, and she is truly badass in this movie. She is able to match and even surpass Joe Forrester's abilities in this movie, and like I said before, just does such a good job in trying to kill and stop this war happening, which is really, really cool. Next up, we have J.K. Simmons, who I just think is a phenomenal actor, especially after the days of him playing J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy, and obviously now he's back in the MCU, which is absolutely awesome. And also, most recently, he was voicing the Omni-Man character in the Invincible cartoon series. And if you listen really carefully, you can really hear Omni-Man in J.K. Simmons' performance in this role. And over here, he is having an estranged relationship with his son, who is played by Chris Pratt, and you can really explore their relationship in this movie. Next up, we have Sam Richardson, who is playing a character called Charlie, who is really hilarious as he's really inexperienced and he has to be a draftee in this movie, and he is really having the support of the Chris Pratt character, and he just does such a good job in this one as well. Next up, we have Betty Gilpin, who is playing the wife to the Joe Forrester character. She doesn't have that much character development, but she is definitely the rock to the Joe Forrester character. And then finally, we have David Maldonado, who is playing a military leader in the present day, and obviously we've most recently seen him in The Devil All the Time and The Secrets We Keep, and so from a casting character's point of view, the Tomorrow War is actually pretty wicked. So the visuals in The Tomorrow War are absolutely incredible. This movie is very, very cinematic. It would have played so well in the theatres as it just looks so cool. It's very explosive. When they go into the future world, all of those sequences are absolutely incredible. All of the action scenes are really, really breathtaking. And also, like I said before, there are some stealth-based sequences which look really, really cool, especially when it's the Joe Forrester character and all of the people around him. Those sequences are really, really cool. And also the aliens themselves as well. They are very, very destructive, incredibly unstoppable. And there's just loads of them, especially when they pile together. You really can see that the humans have no chance, which is obviously why there's a 20% success rate of people going from the future back to the present. And like I said before as well, in terms of the sci-fi space, there have been loads of movies that have been doing the apocalyptic and alien invasion storylines in the past as well. And so there isn't that much room for innovation, but they do a really good job in terms of making the aliens look very, very different and really formidable and very lethal as well. So from a visuals point of view, The Tomorrow War actually does a really, really good job. So you can draw a lot of similarities from a directional point of view from both Michael Bay movies as well as Zack Snyder movies, as there are a lot of big action sequences whilst also having a lot of heart-driven storytelling, which is really, really cool. I'd put this movie on the same level as Edge of Tomorrow, where I think is very similar in terms of having killer aliens and a war action-based storyline of one or two people trying to save the entire world. And you can also draw comparisons to World War Z as well. Even though they're not zombies, they are very unstoppable, and there are some similar sequences in terms of loads of aliens piling on into one location, which World War Z did a lot of as well. And I would also say this movie is a lot better than Cosmic Sin, 2067, Alien, and Riddick as well. So from a comparison point of view, The Tomorrow War is actually a pretty great new entry within the science fiction, apocalyptic, action-based genre. So overall, I really, really enjoyed The Tomorrow War, despite having a really slow first act. I think it more than made up for it by the end of this movie. I think the concept was really, really innovative. I think the final act of this movie is really, really cool as well. And I think Chris Pratt did a brilliant job in really leading from the front, and all of the action sequences and the heart-driven storytelling was really, really cool. And so for all of those reasons, I am going to give this movie a solid 7.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Lifestyle Critic for future installments as well. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.